slight orange peel. Not a problem. From right in here, this section right in here was in pretty good shape already. Right there, where everything's going to, happen on this game. I think it's time to get rolling.
Are you happy?
I am. I think it's beautiful. What do you think?
I think it looks good.
I think you did a great
Real
job.
good.
Yep. I'm clamping down the playfield because I got to put all the parts on it, Steve.
Yeah, but what about this contraption you're putting it on?
Oh, hey, you know what? I do want to tell you about this contraption. This little contraption was from a gentleman that posted this on RGP on how to use some old gas plumbing pipes to build a contraption, as you so well eloquently put it. So that's what I've got here, is a contraption. You know what I don't have is another. I've lost a 1-inch C-clamp, and if you look around the shop, it's amazing that I could ever lose one. Anyway, this little deal costs about $80 to build. You don't have to pay any shipping because you go to your Home Depot place and pick out all the goodies and put it together. I think I paid about $80 in parts. I didn't have any of these parts. I didn't even have the angle iron. And what you can do whenever you get this thing together is you tap some holes and you tighten this little thumb screws down. And whenever you loosen them up, you can turn it around. It's a real rotisserie. So it doesn't just hold your playfield, but now you can turn the thing. How about that? Put some felt underneath, tighten it down. Some people put felt underneath here. I really don't care about that because this is the bottom of the playfield. It makes absolutely no sense for me to be really cautious about its finish. I mean, after all, I'm going to throw about 40 pounds of steel on it in a minute. So I tighten them down. I don't tighten them down too tight. As I work on the game, I'll continue to tighten them down just a little bit in case it begins to slide. It is a rotisserie, so you can flip it back and forth, but really that's not the goal, is to continue flipping back and forth, at least for me. Let me explain. When I'm working on this game, I'm going to put the pieces, well, first of all, you're going to see me go through here with a Sharpie marker and outline everything. I'm going to do it in different colors. For one color, I'm going to use switches, and I'll draw them out. For another color, I'll use general elimination lines. Another color, I'm going to do coils. And then whatever else that comes up that I may want to do in a color format. Like an old not an old Gottlieb, but like any System 3 Gottlieb pinball machine, most all of them have a silk screen on the back side that identify where each item goes throughout the playfield. So Williams didn't do that. I'm going to do that for my own benefit so I can quickly assemble this playfield based upon what I see in the old playfield. So for now, I've got the playfield up, I've got it clamped, I've got a package of Sharpie markers right here, and I'm going to bust them out. They're not Sharpies, by the way. We're cheaping out this playfield. It looks like crap. It looks rough. This machine was on location. It's got brand new glass in it too, by the way. No safety edges, and it hurts my fingers. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's gross. Rubber rings are nasty. The Mylar right there, you can see what it did to preserve this. There's where it's bubbled up over the heat that busted out of the, as the lamps were on. It heats up, it dries out the adhesive, and then you get that bubbling bit going on. Well, we're not going to remove any Mylar, right? Because I got a brand new playfield. There's no reason to do that. There's a large amount of wear anywhere where the ball habits around an area not covered by Mylar. Of course, right in here, really rough. There's no way to get that fixed without spending just gobs of hours and a professional artist. And, who cares? If you can find a playfield and get it clear coated and do all that stuff, you might as well get that done. I think it's so much easier. The ramp has a chip right out here. I have another ramp if I can find it. I only bought it 5 years ago, so we'll see if I can find that thing. This right here, I really wanted to replace this. Look where the weld has been busted. See how it's come off there, Steve? Mm-hmm. I think this is going to go to Odom's. See where they did some wiring here, wire wrap. I mean, it did the job, and it doesn't look, it gives it kind of a barbaric look. Everything else, plastic-wise, is in pretty good shape. The slingshots are acceptable. If I run across some brand new ones, I'll put them on. There'll be new posts that go on. I got all new blue posts, and it's a good thing because look how cracked up that one is. It's pretty messed up, huh? And then I think it's got 2 different colors of posts on this thing. Yeah, well, you got some red pieces up here, but those are fine and those will clean up okay. This is one of those jobs that don't. Oh, here's the ramp right here.
Well, there it is. NOS. NOS ramp, slightly dirty.
Yeah, it's not broken and it's been used, but not very much. Other than that, I mean, most of the metal and steel on here looks pretty good. Surprised, really.
And you got one good speaker.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Besides, I mean, is this working? Yeah, both the slings are working. I mean, it's working, you know, pretty much, I guess. Let's see what goes on here. Oh, no. Oh, looky there. Well, there you go, boys and girls at home. So the head's got a problem. Yeah, all right. Well, besides the obvious issues with... yeah, okay, thank you. Oh, look. It's got all kinds of issues. Have you ever heard that music come out of the game?
I haven't.
Okay, I'm just going to shut it down. It's got problems all over the place. The head wasn't turning, and it's funky. So you can tell it's funky.
Fix it.
It's funky. I'm going to fix it. I'm standing here with Steve Rothschild right now. Steve has just learned the problems with his jackpot. I was working on it with him earlier this evening when we first got back with the playfield, and Steve was a little pissed off that I didn't have it fixed already. Well, hey, you can only do what you can do.
What can you do?
So Steve stepped in and using his ingenious ideas, or at least his help flipping the on and off switch, we've come up with a problem and the resolution to it thus far. Just as you're doing that, just a real quick run through of the game. Over here we have the CPU board. This is a security board. It's a jackpot. So it was one of the beginnings of the security chip. Right up here we have the Fliptronics board. And then I'm going to pan over here. That is the audio board right there. And then you have the dot matrix display driver there. And then I'm going to zoom out. Here's the big board. That's the WPC driver board. The same one used pretty much from the beginning up to security, and then they changed it to W95. So, looking over here at the CPU board, I want to focus in on these ribbon cables. You see they come out of the CPU board. Let's look at the big one on the left. It bounces up here to the Fliptronics board, sending data, and then it goes over here to the sound board, sending data, and then finally it terminates over here at the display board. And that's data. So if at any point in that chain you have a lockup of your data, you will lock up the CPU.
We had no illumination.
We had nothing. Turn it on. We'll show what happens. Where it kicks the switch. Over here on the CPU, you'll look, and the top, there's 3 LEDs there. The top LED is hung up. That means that its blinking signal hasn't been started or it hasn't let go. So what's happened is something is locked up on the CPU board. At first we thought it was voltage. We looked into the voltage situation. We've got a fine plus 5 volts. That's why we have the bottom LED on constantly. Okay, so what we did is we powered it off. Go ahead. And then I just started working out these cables. We started by disconnecting the Fliptronics board only. We pulled the Fliptronics off, turned it on, no good. We came up here, we put the Fliptronics connector back on, went right back over to the soundboard, pulled it off, no good. Finally, we did what Steve just did, is unplug over here to the dot matrix display driver board and turned it on, and go ahead, sir, and you'll see on the CPU board, it'll boot up normally. There it goes. Blinking signal went off, and the CPU is up and running. So,
we have lights.
Diagnostic, the second one down is a diagnostic LED. Now you have lights and it appears like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Well, we have no display, so go ahead. Yeah, there's nothing there. So what we did was, I said go into test. So I hit the button. Okay, we can't see it, but we can hear it, right? Okay, there's errors, it's showing us the errors. We don't see them. Back out of that, hit this button. And now, the thing will kind of reboot itself, and it goes into... track. So remember, guys, do this with the data cable. It's one of the first things you need to try if you got a locked up CPU. Is just disconnect items individually. Soundboards. I've seen soundboards lock up. I've seen bad soundboards, bad DCS soundboards lock up the display, and it looks like garbage. You change out the. Remember that? I had that on Judge Dredd.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is take this off, a known working one, put it on, and see if the problem's fixed.
Right.
With our display.
Yeah. So Steve's going to do that now, and probably the next time we look in on this one, he'll have that fixed. Steve, you want to look at the top of this playfield right here. What I've done here is label in the color that I'm working with. This is a good spot to put notes. So I put red equals coils, and I started drawing the coils. I drew them fairly similar to the shape of the steel plate. This entire assembly will be removed, and this assembly, once it's removed, the wiring is literally going to be cut off. It'll be cut short again. I can remove the assembly. I'll take the flipper out from up top. I'll pull this assembly off and clean it, and then place that assembly right back here with the wire still cut. That way I can transpose all the wiring at one time. Anyway, as you can see, I've got a number right here, 1. And so when I complete this, I write the number 1 here, and then I need to kick off over here and write the number 1, which I did, outside the plate. There's 2, and outside the plate is a 2. I've numbered this coil slingshot 3. This is the title, or the function of it, slingshot. It's number 3. And now I write the wires as they attach to the coil. Now this really means something if you get confused. But again, as I cut these wires, I'm cutting really close so I can see, obviously, like here's this slingshot over here on the original playfield. I'm writing this down so that, as you can tell, I'm going to cut these wires, and I'll leave just a little bit there. But just in case I get confused for whatever reason, or while I'm cleaning it falls off, I'll have them labeled down here. So this one says brown, red, and then purple times 2, meaning there's 2 wires coming off of it. And that's pretty much the way it's going to be, because this high voltage chains all the way around all coils. So here's 3, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And they're all done the same way. Now, what I'll do is, with a red Sharpie, I'm going to come back and hit these coils with exactly what I've numbered them. So flip 1 is here, so I'll just draw 1 up here somewhere. And this is 2. With a really nice looking 2. I'll better write it again up here.
Aren't you a little bit crazy for attempting this?
No, man, this is fun. This is the absolute most fun thing I can do. I love doing this. I don't know why. Because when you get it done, it's like a brand new machine. That's flippers. But now I've went over with switches in purple, and I've numbered them just in the same way. I got a legend here, purple switches, and I started in this area around the trough. I've got the out hole. I've got a double trough switch assembly that goes here, and then there's the ball weighting, I call it, ball weighting switch, where this coil will kick that out into the shooter lane. There's the shooter lane switch, and then we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on around the playfield. Notice I don't number the slingshots here. I don't number these, or these, or these, since this has an actual third sort of slingshot. What I do label is the steel on the original stuff with the same number as the coil. That's the only thing I do it on, because in slingshots it really doesn't matter if you put them this way or that way, because they're all wired the same. They're wired off the same wiring, so it doesn't matter. I just always do that. I mean, you may want to number them, but I don't mess with it. What else?
The more the information, the better it is.
Well, that's true. And Steve would be probably a little more thorough. The next step is I'm going to start drawing out these little PCB assemblies here, the lamp assembly here, here, and I'll do those in a color on there, a different color. Then I'm going to do these lamps in that same color, because these are CPU controlled lamps. So are these 555 PCBs, and then here we got 47 sockets. So I'll do those. General elimination will be the last thing that I deal with and take off of this playfield. I really didn't notice, like right here's a little bit of GI that bounces from here to here to here, and then hops up here. I really don't notice any long strings of, you know, where you see a wire that's just kind of stapled to the bottom of the playfield. We're at a jackpot, or I'm sorry, a Brida Pinbot time where they really kind of quit doing that sort of stuff. So that's good for us because when we pull the wiring off, we're not pulling staples out. Back when I did Swords of Fury just about a month ago, there was a lot of that junk on there for GI, so that's good. Now, one final note on the switches. Here you can hit these two. If you look, I've numbered those 23 and 22. So just like the coils where I numbered them in red, I number my switches in the different color, in this case purple. With the lamps, I'll also number the lamps, and I'll probably do those in a, I don't know, maybe orange or something, or blue. So, I mean, you can kind of see where we're at. Even though we're not doing anything as for removal at this point, the plan has to happen here on the playfield. If you don't have your plan, you're not going to be able to jam on this thing. I've only worked on this for how long? 35 minutes, 40 minutes maybe? Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you spend an hour, if this is your first time doing something like this, you spend 2 hours planning, drawing the map here on the playfield, then your assembly time, I'm going to promise you, will save you.
We'll cut it in half or more.
Easy. You're going to save 4 to 6 hours because you don't have to stop and think. Oh, down to 1. Whoa! Is that it?
Wow. That's great.
Whoa! Whoa! All I need is a Highway 93. Tough shot. Oh my God. You've never played nothing like it, have you?
I don't think too many people have.
No. Last game by Bally. Before they gave it up to Williams. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Over here my legend's grown a little bit. I've got the review. Red is coils, purple is switches, green is wire control. That's new. Blue is lamps, orange is T-nuts and nylon nuts, and black is on-field PCBs, print circuit boards. What you haven't seen yet is the wire control stuff, probably a little bit the lamps. If you look here, I've actually numbered these. These are little places on the play field where you're going to have some wire control. Now these bigger ones here are actually wire lifts, and I'll show you those. Here is a, you can catch this right here, that's a steel wire lift. You see how it controls the wiring by lifting it up about 3 or 4 inches. So those over there are located here. Those are actually 1 and 2 on my playfield. And I've given them a number with that color Sharpie, or sometimes I have to use black because you can't see it too well, over on the existing wiring and hardware. So that's the list. With lights, I went through and did those, L1, L2, L3, but I do have some flash lamps, and right here's one of them, FL1. There's one right there, FL4. So I FL them if it's a flash lamp. Everything otherwise it's just a lamp, unless it's one of these. This is a general illumination lamp, and I did number these, and normally wouldn't have, but I just did because it just seems like some people might want to. So there's a 9, 10, 8. You can kind of follow it all the way around. Or just nylon nuts and washers that go over that. But this right here is a T-nut. And so I'm going to go to my box of T-nuts and have to rubber mallet those in here in just a little bit. But I'll have all those T-nuts in. There's 4 here, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's a question mark here. On my game, there's actually a nut here, a T-nut. It's a drill and there's a nut there. I don't know why. Could be somebody afterwards put that in there where it normally would take a wood screw. They put a T-nut and a machine screw in there. I don't know. Then you might see a couple places where I put a little X. See that little X there? There's one here. These are holes for whatever reason we see underneath the play field, but I don't see a purpose for them. Here's a couple of larger ones here. There's nothing that comes through those holes. They could have never been used. Not certain what the deal is, but at least for me, I can tell you that on the original playfield, there was nothing going through those holes.
The moral of the story is, as long as you understand your own writing, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You can abbreviate anything you want, right?
This is just one way of doing it. Here's the PCB relay. Motor control down here. Here's a lamp controller board over here.
So if I wanted to put big silver thing that has 3 holes that have blah,
Hey,
blah,
let me
blah,
be honest with you.
it'll
I'm not so sure this is the lamp controller. I think it is for the head, for her head dress. I'm certain that's a relay board because it's got a relay on it. Down here, I'm pretty certain that this thing is a motor controller because it has the head controller. Right, the head is right here, and the motor for that head is right over here. So I'm pretty certain that's it. But you could just put green board 1, green board 2, bigger green board. You do whatever you want, however you want to do it. This is just one way of doing it, and it works best for me, and I go a lot faster. Well, as we close out the night 1 of this pinball shop out extravaganza, knowing that you got about a day and a half left, what are you thinking? Can it be done?
Sure.
Steve, you've changed your direction on this because you know you got a board that's got to be repaired. But while we're working on the project, you're going to go ahead and shop it out.
I'm going to shop it out.
Okay.
Get it completely stripped down, clean.
This is where Steve's got it. End of what would you say, a half a day, not even a full day? I mean, it's been like an evening. Steve's been able to strip it down to this point, and he's got his notes that only he would be able to understand.
That's right. This is the Bible.
I don't have to worry about getting mugged where I'm at. I have to worry about getting attacked. Uh-oh. It's the mating call. It's began. Oh, these guys here have been left out. Come on, boys, go get you some. Well, 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 look who beat me out to the shop. Again. My shop, and somehow you always show up early. Or were you on time?
Actually, I was early.
Okay. That's what I thought. Saw you drive up. My wife said, who's that creepy guy coming into the shop out there?
Yeah, run.
Obviously, before I put these flippers on, they've got to be rebuilt. There's got to be parts, at least, it's got to come off and new parts replaced. This is a non-Fliptronics game, meaning that we still have this spark resistor here on the little step up, and this is actually the wrong kind of spring for this. This is the correct spring in here. It's been replaced. There's one underneath that one even that is the correct style, but it's not right. There shouldn't be 2 springs in there. What I'm going to do is, and you can see how nicely this one actually has some metal scuffage. This one came out much better after I cleaned it. So we'll just start with this one. It's a little cleaner. It's still wet. What I do inside my cleaning machine is after I use my toothbrush, and maybe we'll get a shot of this later if things work out. I use my toothbrush and I get in there and I scrub this with that orange oil material. And then whenever I'm done, I pull it out and I spray it with a clean water squirt bottle. And then I just drop it on a rag like this and let it towel dry or air dry for a while. Now it's pretty close, and I'm really not too concerned about putting it back on as is. But I need to replace this part right here, and I need to remove this section right here, the plunger, the link, and the pawl, and I'm going to replace it with new stuff. You could go a step further and replace this with a full rebuilt kit. This end of stroke switch, you could replace that. I really don't have much of a desire to do that. I will remove this coil stop and I'll replace that. And then of course I've got a fresh spring for this one. And the rest of it is just a bunch of these 1/4-inch head screws, and you got it done. If you look at Clay's manual, you'll see that you can tell the difference. He goes through a thorough explanation of this. I'll turn these upside down. If I turn them upside down, look at that. Can you see that right through there?
Don't move. Let me come to you here. There you go.
See the difference? I'd say that looks like almost 1/8 of an inch. Now the bad news is whenever I replace this coil stop, my flippers aren't going to travel up as high, and it's just going to make the game overall more difficult to play. Your shots are going to feel different because the end of the stroke is shorter. I hate it. I'm much more likely to take this stop and file it flat and continue using it because it pisses me off, quite honestly, to put a new coil stop on and suddenly it plays, it feels like it doesn't have as much power. You don't have as much stroke. Now, that's my opinion. But just for the sake of doing things right, I'm going to replace it. I forgot to put a new coil sleeve in there. Man, that's tight.
Oh, well, we're going to have to, like, get that out of there. That's got to come out.
I think I might just leave it.
Nope.
I knew you'd have an objection to that. But man, that's tight in there, Steve. It's a little wet, too.
Get your rubber mallet.
That's why I'm going to get some pliers is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to prise it out of there. You telling me I'm going to have to get a hammer or something?
I'm thinking you're having problems finding your parts.
Well, let's see. That took about 8 seconds, and I found what I needed. Shut up, man. God. Sleeves.
Look out!
Yeah, whatever. Pop, pop, pop. Now what, Steve?
Pull it out.
Yeah, it ain't coming out.
Get a man grip on it.
Get a bloody handman grip on it. Hey, this is what Mean Green does to you, and after I settle my lawsuit, ha ha, boy oh boy.
You'll be owning what?
Let me tell you something else too, ladies and gentlemen. Once this thing comes out, the next one isn't going to go in that easy.
Neither is that. That one's not going to come out too easy.
This is like the 4th one of these. It's been a real biatch.
Let's watch the action unfold. It might come out. It might not.
It might not. I need to get something grooving down that way.
Screwdriver, hammer.
Well, you know, we may. Here, Steve, you try to get it out of there. I can't get
I got the camera.
That's gross.
Ready?
Nice sleeve, Steve. You're
You
doing a good job.
I'm going to throw it away if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we went like this, didn't we?
Yeah. Is
right?
it going to slide in just nice and smooth?
Sure. Do you want to clean it first?
No, it's clean.
You sure?
Clean enough.
You sure?
It's clean enough, isn't it?
All right.
Did it go in all the way?
It's in.
I knew I had you around for something.
Okay. Back to the light work.
All right, Steve. Steve, you did good, man. You did a real darn good job. Okay. Now, you really don't want to put this all together just yet because you got to get this jobby in there. There's the old one. There's the new one. If you take a look, just a slight amount of wear on the tip of that's pounded it back. Not much.
Do you save that?
You know, I actually do. I actually save.
Clean it up and save it.
The problem is, there is a problem with this link right here. If you can you see that notch in the link?
Hold it still.
I'm holding it still.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So if you do this number, see how sloppy that is? I mean, that's real, like friction city. Over here, this thing is just, look at that, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sweet. So we're going to go back with that. And I'll just stick it right in there like this. Yep. Can't do that yet. Got to put a springy ding in it, all right? Something like this. Mm-hmm. Now let's go. And that was probably the reason why that one flipper was all jacked up anywho. So then your little flipper post comes right through there, and you scrog that down, and you're done. Piece of chicken, right? So now let's screw. I'll tell you what, I like to screw from the coil stop first. And, you know, actually, Steve, because I think you put this coil in backwards.
Did I?
This coil sleeve, we are going to have to go back around this way.
That's all right. Put it in the right way.
Put it in the right way, Steve says. Right way. I was reading this book one time, and it said...
Actually, no, it's trial and error.
It is trial and error. You do what works best for you, Steve. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? You know what I didn't do, Steve?
I don't know. What didn't you do?
I get so nervous whenever you start taping me. I got to replace this.
Oh, well, by all means, go ahead and take that out.
What do you suppose this thing is called?
That would be called the flipper hole thing, guide thing.
Okay, let's just shorten it down and call it a flipper hole guide thing. So I'm going to, whoops, I just dropped my nut.
FLG.
There's a nut on the back of these, and this one just fell down. Yeah, the FLG, the T. Don't forget the thing part. And the reason why you replace these is because they're not perfectly round on the inside anymore. After years and years and years of having a shaft through them,
kind of get wore out, don't they?
Get wore out after a while. So let me grab the nut that fell off. There's not a lot of science here. You just replace it.
Do you happen to have a new one?
I do. There's a new one, and the only thing I can tell without a electron microscope is that it's cleaner.
So why are you replacing it?
Well,
Just
because
saying.
you
I'm threw it away and it looked good.
I'm trying to do everything politically correct.
Pull that back out of there.
Yeah.
You might need one later.
Hey, I'll tell you a story as I put this new one in. But by the way, don't try to do it this way. I've seen people do this. Don't do it. Not that I've ever done it that way. Of course not.
I've done it and had to take it off.
Have you really done it before?
Sure.
And put the whole flipper together and it went, huh?
Yeah, had to take it down.
Novus. And I don't mean Novus that you clean a playfield with, pal.
I did. But you know what? I did it because I had to.
You did it because you knew what you were doing the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a funny story for you. I just threw that part away, and I had this gentleman over here, this kind man, that was over here last Saturday, that I couldn't say no to. Usually when people want me to fix their machines, I say, no way. I'm too busy. I've got a gazillion to do myself. But this guy was so nice, I couldn't resist. I just had to do something for this man. He was so nice, man. Did I mention he was a nice guy?
Yeah, he's nice.
He's brilliant, and he's got great stories about the West and everything. I mean, he's up in years, we'll say. He's a very vintage fellow. And anyway, I took his ball out. I was really ready to get rolling on his game because I fixed the problem. It was a Dolly Parton pinball machine. I fixed the problem, and I was ready to get rolling. So I was going to shop the game out for him real quick. I started flying. The very first thing to go was a rusty ball. I get the rusty ball, I pull it out, and I throw it in the trash. Oh my gosh, his eyes lit up like I just threw a $50 bill in there. So he started digging at it. I said, sir, I don't think I'd dig in a trash can if I was you. After Steve is spittled. So he asked me if he could have it, though. He said, oh, it doesn't mind. I don't mind that. Can I have it? I said, sir, I've got an old ball if you want an old ball. By golly, the son of a gun had pulled it right out of the trash can and put it in a little bag. Didn't we get that the other day?
Yeah.
Am I repeating the story again?
No, I don't know if you. I don't think you told that story.
Well, you know what? It's a good story. We want to share it.
I'm gonna have a seat while you're over there playing around.
So I'm using a nut driver on the backhand side.
Well, to make a long story short, you kind of left us hanging on the ball. Where'd the ball end up?
Well, he put it in a bag with all those little kernel tops, you know, that you use instead of the white rubber ones to hold down plastic.
Acorn nuts.
Acorn nuts. Yeah. Well, anyway, he had them in a bag and he left them on my workbench. So there they were. Okay. As you can tell, that screw isn't going anywhere. So you got to get manly with it.
So here, let me have the coil.
Get back. All right, that's going to work right there. And then I'm going to put this one down just a tad more. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it a secret way. You put this bad boy in there and looky here, folks. There.
Nothing up my sleeve.
Now, all these holes line up, the dimpled from the factory, and all you got to do is pop 8 screws in there and you're done. The thing is sliding just fine. It is in the correct orientation. Pretend for a moment, if you will, that you had something there. Whenever it flipped, it would open up the end of stroke. So it's correct. It's the correct orientation and you're ready to go. However, since we're showing a flipper rebuild, we're done with that part. But on an NOS playfield, don't forget your T-nuts. And those T-nuts need to be put in now. Because this can't go down until the T-nuts put in. You follow me? So that's pretty much it. I'm going to get some T-nuts. I'm going to rubber mount them bad boys in there. And put my new rebuilt flipper in there. This should last forever. Well, for a long time.
Hey, what are you doing?
I got to take a leak.
Oh my.
I want to show a little bit about how I do my parts cleaning. Down in here I have a a little tray that you can pull this stuff out and the solvent or whatever will just drain right through it. But what these were slingshots. This is just the hardware for the slingshot. They're just really nasty. You know, they've cleaned up a lot already. Wouldn't you agree? It was just really black, the whole thing. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and use this slightly diluted orange oil bit and just do a little of this. And just scrub them with a toothbrush. You know, I buy these at the dollar store. Like 6 for $1. So here's one that we worked on for a minute. I'm just kind of rinsing it off. And what do you think? You like it?
Pretty good.
Here's one that we just have let soak, and you can kind of see maybe the difference in between the two without doing any toothbrush work. I went ahead and mounted this relay, and I looked underneath here for any cracked solder pins, and they were all fine. Over the lamps, I looked over really just with the naked eye, I guess we'd say, and I looked and wanted to find, out if I had any cracked solder joints in here, and I found one. I'm wiggling it, and it actually has a little more give. I can feel with my thumb right here that when I wiggle it, it's actually moving it, the whole pin. Whereas if I do that here, they feel very solid. So by feel alone, you can, this one's given just a tad. So you can kind of get this by feel alone. It doesn't matter. If you're paranoid, just reflow all the pins. Don't worry about the key, just reflow the pin. If you look right over here, Steve, at this pin, this one's the worst. Can you see it? Let me turn it like this. Maybe you can see a little better.
Yeah, that's better.
It's in pretty bad shape. So we'll just take this board and I'll reflow every one of those. Now, about cleaning though, all of these bulbs, I'm going to leave them right here in their place, and I'm going to take squirt a little Windex on a paper towel and just wipe each one of these off. They're pretty clean. This one here looks like it's a little burned. If I hold it at this angle, you can see that it's blackened. It may not even be burnt out.
May just have some.
It just may have, yeah, whatever. But what the problem is, it gets too hot, and so it's got to be pulled out. If you don't hold down nice like this, it's a habit of mine when I do like an IC, like replacing say a 40-pin PIA chip. This one's really looking rough, Steve. This last one was looking bad.
Well, let me get over here right now.
Yeah, it's too late. I've already fixed it.
Okay.
Doesn't have what happened. It just doesn't seem. I haven't fixed it, but it doesn't seem like it has enough solder on the back side. There we go. Whenever you're doing like a 40-pin chip and you're putting it in a socket, you run the risk of pulling your iron off too quick, which means that if you have places where the pod is it's an empty pod, it doesn't have any traces that could go into the pod, but they're actually on the other side. You really want to make sure you leave your iron on the pod a little bit longer and then pull off after it's probably given some time for gravity to pull that solder down. Take a look. Right here is the old playfield. Steve and I removed it out of the other machine. The only machine I have, actually. Removed the original. This is the wiring harness that comes up, goes through this little tidbit here. A little split wiring loom, and then it pops out here right at the bottom of the cabinet. I cleaned up my hands for the occasion. I wanted to show everybody how nice my skin is. Anyway, you label these dudes. See that? It goes into 116, 121. Don't ask about these. These were pulled out. And then,
why were they pulled out?
They were pulled out because we assumed that there's no two connections key to like. These go to the CPU. They're key to like. A brilliant idea by Williams. I should have known. 133, 126, 122. Considering that this is a Brightlift Pinbot, it is the first machine to use WPC electronics. I'm very impressed that this is all you have to pull off to get this thing out of here. This is a very big positive. The last one I did, the swap, was Swords of Fury, and there was more than that. I've been removing some coils. Pop bumpers are always a pain in the butt. Here's where I get to on a pop bumper. I can't put the pop bumper back on the machine because I need to put the switches, like I want all the coils on the machine. But I can't because the switch apparatus needs to come off with the rest of the wiring whenever I pull it off. So if the pop bumper coil is put back on, not only can I not connect it to the actual dish that's above on top of the playfield, but I'll have to remove it again to get to the switch. It also gets a little interesting whenever you get into the actual GIs that flow for the pop bumpers. These, at some point, I'll actually trace these out on the playfield with a Sharpie, so I kind of get the idea of how they're flowing. Now, that's not the most important. The most important is this wire. Understanding where this wire tags. This is just a jumper, and the actual voltage that hits this is coming from here. So all three pop bumpers are lit up at the same time.
My playfield is clear.
Get it out of here.
Wait a minute. Let's go look. Well, let's just go over
You
here.
can't even navigate yourself back there.
Well, there's so much stuff just hanging out here. Huh? It looks stripped to me. I could take a few posts off, but
Mine looks great.
you know. Yeah, I'm ready to clean the
Oh,
floor.
let me see this. No, I'll take the time to come over and look at your crap.
What?
It's stripped.
I'm not taking targets down. I'm not.
All right, these need to be completely removed and rebuilt. Here. You need to put new red dishes underneath them.
Oh no, those will clean up
You got
nice.
all these lamps that's got to go. These scoops got to go.
True.
What's this thing?
That's part
Visor lift?
That's the visor lift.
All right, this has got to go.
Nope, it's not coming off.
I know.
Trying to get by here. Why you won't put me on tape?
What are you doing?
Clean the cabinet out and
Yeah.
ready to get down on the playfield.
Okay.
You
Go
wanna see
vacuum
me
that
dance?
playfield?
Already did.
Yeah, go ahead.
I already did.
Go do a little dance.
On top of it?
I'll let you see. Do I want to see a dance?
On top of the playfield.
You gonna get on the table and dance?
Yeah.
Don't get on the table and dance.
No?
No, we don't want that.
Okay.
We'll never sell a video if we have that. We'll be banned in 24 countries.
What's up?
Yeah, I'll just,
Ready to keep cranking?
back from break, ready to crank. It's break time. I had to go get some stuff, man. I had to go get some supplies and take a break, get away from this stuff. It's driving me crazy over there. Oh no, vacuum the shop out a little bit, why don't you? Yeah, I know.
Don't have time.
Yeah, whatever. I gotta get moving by.
Important.
I gotta get moving by.
Important to get this stuff done.
I gotta get moving by.
Move.
I gotta go by.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah. What are you doing?
look at me. I'm the bride.
You'd make a great bride.
Hey, how's this look? Play me.
I think you're a poster child for idiots.
Come here, look at this. Come here. As you tear it out in this playfield, and we're doing the wiring part now, we're just taking the whole wiring harness down. Something that I do as I pull this down, I just start from the top down. You could start the other way, but actually I like to peel this down, starting from where the wiring harness is. See, I'm just coming straight down off the game. I'm just going balls to the wall, unscrewing stuff. It's a blast. As I'm taking this off, there's a couple things that I like to do, like I'm taking off the ball wiring guides, and I'll run a different color of a zip tie. These are purple, where I used orange over here. Remember, these were just to tie together the 3 wires that went to a particular coil. Well, here I'll tie purple, and I use purple just to maintain these cables in here and where they go on one of these guides. If this guide falls off, because I'm just going to unscrew that guide, excuse me, let me cut this back. I'm going to just unscrew this wire guide here, and if for some reason the wires fall out of that guide, which they can fairly easily, I'll have a zip tie right there, and I'll know that there's a tie supposed to be right next, or I mean a wire guide supposed to be right next to that purple tie. Same here. This one's coming off, and I just go down as I do these. I zip them up. I could do them all at once probably, but where's the fun in that? Let me go ahead and do this one. It also tells you which wiring was in that thing to begin with. I mean, whenever you go back, I've done this before, and this is the reason why I do this now. You can get to a point to where you just kind of get confused as to which wires actually went through which wire guide. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but I kind of like to keep this neat, I want it to look good. Wiring neatness is a very important part of this to be organized. I mean, coming from a guy who doesn't seem to be organized in anything, right? So, here, I'll just undo a couple of these. This is done. You see I'm peeling this back. Like here's one of these little Joes that was connected to another cable down in here. So, this will just make removing the top of the playfield so easy. There's nothing to disconnect whenever you do it like this. I have no idea what to do with this. I think I'm just going to put it in a box and I'll finish this next year.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious. That's a mess, isn't it?
It is. I don't
Perfectly
know.
organized mess. Chaos.
And you're
Okay.
actually going to stick that on there right
You
now.
don't think I can do it, do you?
I mean, you're going to stick it on there right now.
Well, no, not right now. Here's what I got to do.
What do you got to do yet?
Well, some parts of it have to be clean still, but I don't want to step on it, so I'm just going to lay it over here, and that'll be just fine. Over on the playfield, there's some things I got to get taken care of now. I need to remove these 2 hard pieces of hardware that's for the playfield seat. Down here, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the ball trough area. I'll clean that up, and this little switch I left, I'll take that off. I'll go ahead and take these clips off, the apron, of course, on the other side. I did have to cut some wires for that coil. There's no connector. It's directly soldered on. And
piece of cake.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I'll just use some heat shrink tubing.
Rob, get some work. I know.
I can't because she's bugging me, man.
Oh, this was the second thing I was coming for. You
That's mine. That's my Windex. That's my
Funny how
Windex.
mine is missing.
You don't touch that Windex.
This is coming with me. Right.
It's leaving. Are you going to
You walk
stop
out
her?
here without Windex, it's over.
She's leaving with the Windex.
Windex is coming with me.
I think she's leaving with your Windex.
No, I'm leaving with my Windex.
Oh, it's your Windex.
Hey, get out of my building! I got 20 minutes. I got 20 minutes to finish. If I want to do what I said I was going to do, I got 20 minutes to finish. And that is, I said I was going to populate the entire wiring on this playfield in about roughly 45 minutes. The way that you do that, at least the way that I do it, this seems to work incredibly fast, is the very first thing that I want to mount are these wiring lifts and wiring guides. I've numbered them. This one here looks like number 4. This is number 5. This one over here was 2. This was 1. And here's 15. I'll put this one down now. You see 15, and this is not an extension. It's not lifted 3 or 4 inches up, but it just goes right there. Okay, big deal. But it is a big deal because once I throw this down and I put all these down first, then everything begins to make sense. Let me explain it real quick. Torque this one down. I do all these by hand pretty much first, so I can, instead of using any type of power tool. What you see is that the normal orientation of the wiring is now ready to go. Once you put these all in the right spot, this thing gets tangled around. Just a moment ago, I had all this red wiring that goes this way, and this passage was all laying off on this side. I had to actually flip it, and once I flipped it and put all, make sure all my wiring guides were correct, then I can just see that there's some obvious things. Like this is A, and this was board A for the lamp insert, so it just snaps in there like so.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here we go.
Let
Like
me
this.
come around and get that.
Yeah.
Snaps right in there.
This is B. This is C. See there? Just snaps right in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going right where it needs to go.
It does. Actually, they do just lay down there. Now that you rubbed my hand with the camera, thank you. I always like to feel a little closer to my work. Okay, let me give you a better example of that. Here's this stationary target right here. It is numbered. It says right there, stationary target number 21, and on the back, look there, Sharpie on there was 21, right? You just drop it in there, zip it in, zip, zip, you're done. This is lamp number 4, L4. Check it out. All this stuff is just going to start falling right in place. L5, right there. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, I'll just kind of navigate this underneath like that. This is L6. This is L7. You can see it printed written right there. And you just keep on rolling. It's that fast. So we're going to let you go, Steve.
Thanks.
Or you can just keep watching me, but I'm going to just keep on grinding. I will have this done in 20 minutes. I got 20 minutes left. I'll have it done. You look at this rollover. It should pop up and down just real nice and neat. See that one? They have to. Here's another one. Notice how this one's a little bit laid over to the... It's centered in the middle, but then when you get over here, it's pulled off to the right. Can you tell that, Steve? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to actually adjust that one, but you should be able to put these on for the most part with no adjustments. The way you do it is you put one. Let's go back to this one. This rollover switch has 2 screws that's going to hold it down. 1, 2. I put one in about 3/4 of the way down, and then I sink the other one home. As I put the second one down all the way, I make sure that I line it up and it's centered, just like this is centered. Then I hold it centered, because you can tighten one down and still wiggle the bottom of it left or right. I bring the bottom one down all the way and making sure that it's centered up. When I first did a playfield swap, I actually left some of those kind of crooked, and then I had to go back and readjust them later. So while you have the playfield upside down like this, you need to just get it done now the right way. What I've done here is I've just got a layout of all the items. I've just got to sink screws into this area here. This will be done, and then I've got this one section here that'll take some time because it leads down to the ball trough. So being realistic now, you're looking at probably another 30 minutes, and then
It'll be done then.
I don't buy
I
it.
just tried something crazy, and
I don't buy it.
you don't blame me? All right, 30 minutes from now, it's 10 till 4. At 20 after 4, it will be done. Matter of fact, as soon as I get done, I'm going to bring the camera out. We're going to hit the clock. I'm going to prove you, buddy.
Bring it. Don't.
Hey, you can go through with your white glove if you want and check everything. I don't care.
Don't say it. Bring it.
Whatever.
I have a feeling that we're going to be looking at that clock at 20 after, and you're going to be making another stupid excuse.
Hey, I've only had about 4 phone calls too, so shut up. If you want an excuse,
Whatever. Whatever.
That's
yes.
true.
Oh, whatever. Yes, honey. Yes. Yes, I'll be in at that time. I'll bring my toys, and I'll come in.
I'm not allowed to bring my toys in. I'll leave them outside.
Where are we?
What time is it?
4:23.
What time did I say it'd be done?
4:20.
Well, you go ahead and give it an inspection, but all I'm doing right now is just kind of cleaning a couple things. I'm not working on nothing.
Really?
I said it'd be done in 30 minutes, and by golly, it is. Actually, this is just a modification. This isn't original. I'm adding new stuff.
Really?
Let's drop that.
Interesting.
What are you talking about, Willis? I'm done.
You are?
What do you think? Well, take a good look at it. How's it look to you?
It doesn't look done yet.
What's wrong?
I don't know. You saying it's done?
I'm saying it's done.
What have you got left to put on here?
Nothing.
Oh, really? No, really? Where's...
I'm done.
Where-
Hey, take a look over there at the other stuff now. I've got to still solder some coils on there, but that wasn't what I agreed to do. I agreed that I'd have the thing done.
Okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt at
Now,
this
move a
point.
little slower, will you?
You're not... You're not done.
What about, well, you find something I'm missing besides this one screw I'm putting in here, and I'm just readjusting it. Gosh! You know what? I'm putting on these last slingshots, and that's it. That is the last thing to
I don't buy
go.
it. There's a screw laying in that lamp.
Yeah, that's the one I just
there.
knocked in there whenever I got all in a hurry. Look, this is it. You're walking in on the final thing to put down. I mean, look at it. Somebody tell me, if you can't, write me an email. What am I missing here besides soldering my coils on? Okay, someone might say, hey, Rob, you're missing a board. I would say, hey, no problem. Check it out. It's on. Done. Oh, geez, I found another one loose here. That one I can get with this one. I say be organized. As for organization, there was no stop and think time. Not a single piece of it. Everything flowed perfectly. Just like I wanted it to. I was tickled to death about that. I see something else I didn't told you. Oh, guess what? My battery's about dead. These wires go directly to coils. I can just start laying them around. Anything that's got orange on it's going to a coil. And they should all be really close to a coil. These are going right over here. And these are pass through. They go through the hole. The ones I had to cut. That's a flipper. That's a flipper. That's this coil here. And then the beat goes on. See? They're all laying right next to a coil.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are pop bumpers over here, which we're not going to mess with until the very end. Yeah.
We're over here at the cleaning bin.
Yep.
And what we got going on here is just some cleaning.
Clean little pop bumper action.
I'm getting really bored.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to do with your time? Help me out?
Nope.
No?
I'm getting bored, so I'm going to go back to work. But, I thought I'd film a little bit.
Gosh!
What is the problem? What's the problem? Why is that thing in so many pieces?
Huh? What are you talking about? It's just the nature of a pop bumper, man. It takes multiple pieces to a pop bumper. Hello? Hello, I thought you knew something about pinball.
But
The pop bumper cap has to fit down over this lamp socket. Just perfectly. So, there's no room. It's got to fit right down to the very bottom. So you got to pull them tight. That one looks like it's going to need a needle nose plier pull on it. Look at this. These are the best pliers you could buy. These little needle nose that have a 90 on it are great. You can reach right in here and pull this thing down a little more.
are they going off center, or are you trying to center that?
I'm just trying to get it all the way down first. Well, it's off center right now, and it's pretty far down.
Well, my dilemma is, and I don't care if it's off center a little bit. My dilemma is the lamp. The lamp is in. The pop bumper cap has to stay on top of it. Sorry.
And it does not?
Actually, it does, but things not on correctly.
Those new bodies?
Yeah, it's all new, except for the cap. Okay. Actually, you know what? We threw out all that drama for nothing because actually it fits now.
So what you're saying is, if at first you don't succeed, try again?
Man, that freaking thing was pissing me off. Here's the original, and you see how these things bend out really quick? They do perfect 90-degree angles and then they 90 back again. But whenever you use these, you know, they're not solid wire, it's stranded in there, and I guess you're just going to have to force it out.
Without breaking your strands.
Yeah. And then you got to force it back around again. What happens is, though, because it's stranded, it wants to push the thing up a little bit higher. Well, you really don't want that laying on top right directly on the pop bumper cap because you see a little bubble on the original cap?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too worried about it. Looks just like an imperfection in the plastic because it's not really raised much, but before I cleaned it, you could tell it was a heat deal. This is a screw that actually goes one direction. If you can see the thread, it'll actually go down like a normal screw, and then you got to pop it in reverse and finish it off. These are screws you probably won't be able to find at the hardware store, although I've never really looked for them. But they are the base for the pop bumper assembly. This is what's going to hold the pop bumper assembly, meaning the coil and some of the other hardware underneath the playfield. I'm going to put these in. I've just put one in. These are screws that are pulled off of the old playfield. I'm going to go down normally. But in a minute, I can't go down any further, so now I switch directions. Pretty good. And it sends it the rest of the way down.
I don't have anything.
What you got in your hand?
You mean lamps?
What are you hiding?
I'm off on the way. Don't pitch them. Don't leave anybody.
Steve does this really unique thing. He shops out his pinball machine with all the lamps on it, then takes them off.
No, I vacuum the holes out, and then I put the lamps
Oh, he
back
vacuums the holes.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Seen lamps in there?
See what you got all those little brown spots all around all the.
That's heat.
Oh.
That's heat. I'm getting really bored with the pinball machine stuff right now. Let's go tear something up. You want to?
You know, I got a lot of work to do, Steve.
I'd like to just tear something up right now.
Let's go.
Vent some frustration.
Well, as long as it's not mine, what are you going to tear up?
Well, anything. Let's find something. Come on.
You know, I got a lot of work to do.
5 minutes.
All right, as long as I can show off my fine pop bumper work and everything else.
Pinball magic. There would be a start.
You just want to burn that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should we take it out of the building or just burn this whole half of the building?
I just burn the machine and the building. Burn it all.
Well, you can't destroy that back glass.
No.
How about meow, meow, meow?
No, because the girl on it she's kind of cute. Except her legs don't move. You ever notice that? Here it is. Yeah.
Hey, dude, that's NOS.
Yeah.
Come on, dude, that's new old stock.
Come on. Well, how are we going to tear this thing up? Let's put this thing to a test. This is going to be
You got a
great.
grip on it? You got a good grip on it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's tempered, right?
Tempered glass.
All right.
Where can we go out and just test the heck out of this thing?
Well, we probably ought to just test it in here so I can vacuum it.
You think?
So this is going to be pinball Jenga, where we're going to build something on top of the glass to see how much it can hold.
We're going to see how much tempered glass can hold. Rob?
Now,
Vacuum is at the ready.
Okay, good. And this glass, wow, man, actually, this glass is sitting on top of a trash can, and so it's actually not, the forces are not out here on the edge to hold it up. It's just right around this area here. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and paint a ring for you to show you exactly where they are.
Man, that's NOS. Don't
Yeah,
be
I know.
painting on that. Oh.
This is pretty much where the trash, well, I kind of got off a little bit. It probably goes like this. Here. X marks the spot. So that's where we're going to actually put some stuff.
We'll stay in the center.
Yeah.
So,
we need a good base to start with.
I'll tell you what, this, what do you think about that trackball deal there?
This was their finest hour.
I'm getting hot and sweaty here. A 35-pound power supply from a Bally pinball machine. I'd say it will. I'd say it's about 30 pounds. Good enough.
Oh, that falls off my toes. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, God. Oh, you just have to look at the camera later. It's coming down. I'd say it's bent an inch at the very middle. It's 200 degrees out here, and Steve's just wanting to build the biggest, prettiest pyramid there is. We got 3 minutes to finish this thing off.
This all is good. This is another 15 pounds. I'll try to hold it straight.
Okay.
That is unbelievable.
I'm getting back. I don't want to get hurt. I can't imagine why. Steve, there's nothing that could break that glass except for a tiny little hammer hitting it on the edge. The whole pile just slid and the glass still didn't break. So why don't you just do it in right now and get it over with. And that's not even a real hammer, that's the mallet. Go ahead.
Oh my God! This is unbelievable.
Hey, when those jerks from the auction want to walk on that glass,
Let them.
let them.
Let them.
As long as they're not wearing steel-toed boots.
Yeah.
I've got 500. I've got 200. 125. Sold to the door for 100. Great buy. Great buy.
We're ready to roll, and here we go.
Hello, everybody, and can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? We're about ready to get started. We know it's 3 or 4 hours after we said we were going to start, but hey, we got a great set of machines here. I've been doing St. Louis auctions and auctions around the world, and I've not seen machines like this anywhere before. Folks, this is fantastic. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay, it's real simple. Here's the deal. We're only charging today a 45% buyer's premium. That's it. That means if the hammer price is $1, you're only going to pay $1.45 for this machine. Now, I need to tell everybody, all of you out there, you probably didn't know this, but nobody's making pinball machines anymore. No one.
except for this one small company called Stern, and they're only making about 30 or 40 a year.
Hey, you got one of them there Seabiscuit machines?
We happen to have a Seabiscuit machine down at the end of the aisle. It looks like it's in parts. It was working when it was new. Okay, let's get started. Everybody got a bidder number? Listen, if you don't have a number, don't worry, just raise your hand, and we'll take care of you later. Okay, everybody hear me okay? Hey, we might give away some hats a little later on today, so everybody come close. Now, California last week, this is Crazy Auctions. Did I tell you this is Crazy Auctions? We sold one of these at the California Crazy Auctions. It went for $45,000. Who'll give me 300 now, 4 now, 5 now, 7 now, 14?
Wait a minute, ain't nobody with their hand up here.
Hold on a minute, hold on.
Nobody put their hand.
Hey, who had 14?
Oh, that guy over there in that t-shirt.
We'll start right back. 13. Who had 13? Sold! Sold for $1,300. We're moving on. Firepower. It's about working. It's a 39-cent part. I'll fix it up.
What's all them boards on there?
Oh, those are extra boards. I meant to tell you that the guy that's selling this, he's not here right now. Has that got a red dot on it? Okay.
Well, no, we don't have no red dot.
They don't have a red dot. That means it was working when it came in. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to throw in that board and that ramp, and we'll even leave the head and the back glass. Who'll start me at 300 and go? 3, now 325, 325, now 325, now 325 on a firepower? Come on! We'll start over again.
Okay.
Who'll give me 400?
Don't bid on it. That guy's milking you.
400. I got 4. The guy that brought it in, who I said wasn't here, just showed up, and he'll buy it back for 400. 500, finally. Sold. Good deal. Moving on. Black Knight 2000's got speech problems. Folks, they made a Black Knight that was awful. The first original Black Knight sucked. Now they got a Black Knight 2000 out. This game was, did it just make it last year? Okay, it says, somebody that knows says it's 10 years old.
When are you going to get to the Pac-Man?
We're gonna start this game off at $500. 5 now, 550 now, 6 now, 8 now, 9 now, 1,000 now, 1,100. 1125, 1125, 1100 sold. And what's your number? 666.
How do we go from 1125 to 1100?
Hey, we're in a hurry, folks. We got a lot of machines to go. 666 is going to buy all. Get the power off of those machines down there. Quit playing them. Preview's over.
Turn them jukeboxes off.
Can you hear me? Hey, dork, tell them to quit playing these video games back over there. Hey, and everybody, I wanted to just tell you, we still had 700,000 slot machines that we didn't auction off because y'all wanted to go to these pinball machines. If anybody wants a slot machine, these are Japanese. They work fine. I think we got some tokens for them. You had a chance to check them out. We're going to sell them for $2.99. We're taking a loss on them. Let's move on down. Oh, we got white water right here. This white water didn't power up. It did when it first got in here. And here we go. You ready, everybody? Who's going to start bidding at 2? Now 250, now 3, now 350, now 4, now 455, now 5.
Yep,
550. Are you in or out?
Yep.
You in? You in? You in? 550 now 6, now 6. 550 now 6. $600. $600. Are you in? Are you in? It's just between you two. Come on over here. Come on over here. 550. Now you're 550. Sweetheart, do you want it at 6? Your kids are going to love it. 550. Now 6. Now 6. Now 6. She's got it at 6. Are you in? Look, I'll give you $25 if you'll bid $650. You bid $6. Hey, Lisa! What's your bidder number? Bidder number 719. Give him $50 off his purchase here today. Did you hear that? What?
Oh,
She's going to give it to you. You just trust me. You trust me. All those items cleaned, ready for the lower level plastics reassembly. And those dozen or so pieces to go back on. Parts in the cleaner. Half a dozen or so to go. Sunday night, 10 after 10. What are we going to do? I mean, this was supposed to be a 24-hour, beat your body to pieces, run and shoot offense. Look at this thing coming together. This looks beautiful. Steve's been rolling. He's got a lot of his hardware back on. He's working on the visor. And let's see, if it's 10 after 10, let's say you work till 11, that gives you like 4 hours before you got to go to work. What do you think?
I'm not going to make it, nor am I going to pretend that I'm going to make it.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to make it, nor am I going to pretend I'm going to make it.
I'm enjoying that view of your head.
Like that? What can you say? 25 after 11. And got 14 things total to put on the machine. And I run into a piece of hardware that is Loctited. Loctite has been put on the threads. The T-nut is spinning. No big deal. I deal with it all the time. But not this one. This one is a custom nut. It's got a nut top. It's threaded. Goes up a ½ inch. It breaks. No spares. What are you going to do? 25 after. This is our bonus knife, Steve.
Bonus?
Yeah.
We got bonus?
This is the freebie bonus knife, pal.
Oh,
How you doing?
doing good.
You're flying on that game.
Yeah. Kicking butt. Started at 6 and it's now 8.
Yeah, you got your parts clean. You had them clean at home, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You're flying. What do you got left? You got ramp. No, you got
mini play field.
the mini play field.
And
Wire form.
over there.
You got a wire form on this?
Real
Yeah.
small one.
And then you've got slings, flippers, returns to flippers, and you're done. All right.
Yep. Coming together.
Well, then you got a circuit board to come.
Yeah.
And I've got, geez, boy, I got a long way to go. Got the mini play field, and I still need to repair some little posts. And got some plastic on the game. And anyway, I got to get cracking here. Right here. And so if I slide this piece up here, it fixes the problem. I know some people have done this in the past, but I don't want to do it on this play field, but I have no choice. You know what I mean? I don't have a choice in the matter.
It's a ball trap.
It's a ball trap. And if I stick a ball, take this ball right here, and not only does it lodge itself in good, I mean, it's real good. You know, now that I think of it, I think I will just go with a post. Tell me what you think about this, but if I just go with a post, at least if I choose to remove it later, after we play test or whatever,
Okay.
yeah, I can. And that's got a little more surface area on it than just one of these.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
The direct impacts are going to happen here, 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 and here. You know, I don't think you're going to have a direct impact there. You got a guide kind of getting you there. What do you think?
Just barely have it edged out there. I mean, just
Well,
you really don't
I
even
can't
need
go
to
any.
have it wedged.
I can't go any further than this right here. This is it. Here, tell you what. Stay right there. I'll put a rubber ring on it. What do you think? If it's right there, the ball. Well, it looks like here. It needs to come back. I mean, the ball's not going to stay there unless the whole play field is tilted about 20 degrees to the right.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be right in the dead center of that thing. Steve here is just bragging about how he's done,
What didn't I do?
and out of nowhere,
What didn't I do?
he flew in here with all of his clean, pretty parts and finished her up. And it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Look at that shine, boy. It looks nice.
Yeah, I mean it's a little dusty, but hey, I'll clean it again before I seal her up.
Look at that. You want to talk about your restoration of this game real quick?
All I did was basically clean the heck out of it, change all the light bulbs, and let's see, did I have any troubles on this? Fuse problems that you fixed.
Don't forget the soundboard problem that I got to work on. Don't die, don't die.
Soundboard.
Here's the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Don't die.
Yeah, that was a data cable issue.
We don't know. I just went through and removed just about every chip and put them back in and reworked the cables.
Yeah.
Pretty. Nice game.
So that's Baywatch. It was it wasn't too bad, but you know, it took a lot of time and a lot of effort. And you know, hey, it's the kind of guy I am.
Steve is meticulous about cleaning things. It's got to be just immaculately, perfectly clean, and that's why I would trade him any day for. I'll do his tech work and he can do my clean work. But you know, the only thing he's ever cleaned for me is Motor Dome, and
that's because I've been working on these. I mean, you know.
Whatever. Looks good.
Yeah.
Wanna play a game?
Sure.
Real quick. Just, you know, roll them around a little bit.
You want to put the glass on so it's not so loud?
No, because I'm going to take some pictures of them.
Woodbridge Coast Guard Station, clear and through.
You get to choose your skill shot in the beginning.
Yeah.
Pop bumpers are pretty cool. What's the deal with a shark flipper?
You try to hit it in the hole, and it gets you in another mode. Like that. See the shark? Now I got a video mode.
This is a hard video mode. I played it a few times.
Just wiped out on a buoy.
You got to memorize those, otherwise you're
Yeah.
not.
You're eating your fine quality dining.
We have little time here. You understand what I'm saying?
Very
so I'm
little.
trying to eat. Get this. I need to get this soldered on. I need to get the shield back on here. I have 3 coils or pop bumpers. Remember, I said I was going to do those last one. I'm doing them last. Steve, you don't even look at the camera. You're looking at what I'm doing. But the camera, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So I got to get this coil and this coil and this coil soldered on. My welder's soldering iron is blinking, tell me it's ready to roll. I've got to get the little shield that goes over the head. I'm still concerned that the head motor isn't lined properly. We'll find it. You really can't test this till you get the friggin' thing in there. I might have to put it in, put it out, wait, put it in, pull it out, and then. But I doubt it. You know, I doubt it. It'll probably be all right. It'll probably be okay. There's really only one way that can go together. Now listen, I gotta get a drink real quick. I'm dying. And no, there are no official trademarks or sponsors in this video. Boy, what a delicious drink.
I want to know why this thing getting ready to put back in its
Well,
place.
Steve, because I've been busy.
Oh, busy, huh? Oh, busy.
There's a gentleman by the name of Steve Rothschild who always says things like, well, ain't no sense in doing it all if you don't do it right.
That's right.
So I've been doing it right.
Well, congratulations on your methodology change.
Shut
I'm
up.
really proud of you.
Hey, you know what, Steve? It's still about being practical. I mean, when you got a brand new play field, you know what it is? It's just a piece of plywood.
It is.
You know
But you're
what?
going to be having fun playing on this piece of plywood for a long time.
And you know what?
Unless you just speed through and jack it up. And
Well, I got to be honest with you, Steve. I just sped through here and jacked it up. I'm
You
going to
did?
do something that is unheard of. I'm going to set this right
Oh.
on the face. Wait,
Oh.
would you do that?
No.
No, most people would get about 14 pounds of bubble wrap, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
All right, here's something else
crazy.
I'm going to do that's crazy.
You're going to use solder?
That's right. I'm not even going to use JB Weld on this. But I need one more tool. Hey man, did I tell you how great this Weller soldering iron
You
is?
told me it was good.
Hey, listen, I'm not promoting any product or company on this video, but these Weller soldering irons are, look at that. Wow. Let's do a little tin action there. Gotta pull this old junk off. You know, that would not be doing it right, Steve, if I just left this on there.
Take
So I
it
gotta
over.
pull it off. Yep. Whoops, just on the floor. Just a little bit on the floor. Now, for you guys at home, remember how we said we were going to do this?
No.
Whoops. Golly. That's an
Said
NOS
you-
playfield. Can you believe I did that to an NOS playfield?
Said you were going to rewire it.
I said, well, I can tell you were listening real good.
Well, see, I was busy shopping the machine
Yeah.
out while you were doing this.
Uh-huh. Well, here's the thing. What I was saying was, whenever you clip these things, these wires off your coils originally, you leave just a little bit on the coil so you can identify what the colors were.
Oh, the color of the wire.
Yeah.
I'm onto that. I've practiced that practice before.
You practice that practice?
Yeah,
Do you talk that walk
I walked that.
or whatever?
I walked that talk.
Here, let me tin this one up a little bit. I was watching that video of that crazy popbumper.com did
Mhm.
of the Stern Factory tour, the
Mhm.
one that's still yet unreleased.
Right. And
Um,
what were they doing?
Well, they just basically do what I'm doing, and it seems like it's so lame. But instead of literally poking the wire through, they just kind of, ow,
They burn themselves.
just kind of burn themselves. They just kind of do this a little bit. They just kind of hold it till it's dry.
How long does it take to dry?
Oh, I don't know. I think it dried in just a few seconds. You know, cold solder joints is something you don't want to have, and you could easily get them here. This has got a, ow, shit, that's hot.
It's called a soldering iron.
It's hot.
It's supposed to be hot. It's got to be hot.
All right.
You gonna let those dry?
Shall I let it dry? Here's the crazy thing. Once you do this and you let go, you can feel the heat really jamming up the wire as it's drying, and it hurts. Now, that's kind of a cold joint. You can, no, actually, that looks pretty good.
Add some solder.
Those are fine. I could add some solder, but it's probably just going to jump right off. Here, I'll try it on this one. This one's less likely to jump off. But see, look at there. That's the crap you get into.
Okay, so what are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna put some wet on there, and then I'm gonna let it dry, and move it again. It's dry. I'm cutting 3 pieces of heat shrink that are fairly small in length. These 3 wires here lead to something on the other side. I had to cut them off, or I could have unsoldered them from the other side originally. I chose not to do that. I chose just to cut them because once you do this a few times, it's really not that bad. As I said, I'm going to join these together. Now, what I like to do is, and this zip tie and this C-clamp's getting on my nerves, I like to just wrap these around each other like this. This is not as easy as I hope I'm going to make this look, but you get good at it after a while. Once you wrap these around each other, they'll stay like that.
Solder.
And then you just dop. You heat a little solder. And you're filling all the voids in there, so it's going to have plenty of surface area. In fact, more than it originally had. Just like that. Then it'll cool take a second to cool or dry. It depends on how you want to talk about it. And then you just wiggle this little dude up here like this. Throw a flame on it. But this torch will come on. And you got it. And it's just as good as new. And so I'll do it one more, and then we'll probably just need to pause this. Well, whatever, I don't care. But see, I take these and I bend one around. If you watch real close with my thumb, I bend one side down, and I just start working the other one around like this. You got to strip them fairly long to pull this off correctly, and it'll hold tight. Now again, the first time you try to do this, like I did, you'll fight this thing, but with a rotisserie, this is a cakewalk because your hands are where they need to be. And get to your tools and so on. That's almost too much solder on that tip. Son of a golly!
What's going on here? What happened?
I got too much crap on my workbench. Cannot wait to clean this stuff up. I got a rule. I don't clean up the shop until after a game, and then sometimes not even then. Steve, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steve used to be so like, why don't you go ahead and get all your tools picked up? This place is a mess.
I do organize my stuff.
Well, you do
every 30 days.
Yeah, I know. See, you take a little while too. I've got to get a little thicker piece of shrinking tubage.
You know what? 9 times out of 10, I find stuff that I didn't even know I had.
And it's exciting. It's almost
it's like Christmas.
Yeah, it's almost
all
like
over again.
I don't have a board. I don't have anything wide enough.
Can't we just drop it in there? Just drop it in the cabinet.
It'll go all the way down, I think. Here, go ahead and make it look.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like a fair system.
Oh, no, it's hitting something. All right, can I just put the hardware on it real quick? Look, we'll be right back. It'll only take a second.
Moment of what?
Moment of truth, folks. 3 balls.
And did you put the same rusty balls you had before?
Of course.
Right back in there?
Of course.
Just cleaned them up a little bit?
Yeah, I put them in a tumbler. Here we go. What's wrong with it? It's dead.
Why? It won't go. Nothing happened.
It's not doing anything, is it?
It's crazy. You might want to plug it in.
You think it needs some power?
Yeah, you might want to plug it in.
Okay. I Yes. I thought these things ran on batteries.
I heard something.
Uh-oh.
The head flipped around. It's testing. It's on free play.
Is the head doing what it should do?
The head's spinning. So it's level.
Oh, good. Oh, it's, looky there, folks.
No errors?
Here we go.
Let me come over here on this side. Yeah.
The pop bumpers aren't popping.
They're not popping?
No, but the slingshot is. Yeah, stuck switch somewhere too.
Alright.
I don't know. I put a red light in her mouth instead of the original.
Yeah.
I got a line problem up here on the head. The right slingshot wasn't fluid. The GI was non-existent except for slingshots. Upper right pop bumper switch works, but no coil action. Lower pop bumper switch not working. The switch, I asked myself, was the switch stuck on? It appeared like it was. Top gate to mini playfield has sticking issues. The flashers at the Jets entrance were out. GI issues in the helmet. Those are not GI, but the used in helmet and rear playfield during test was coming up not working. Number 8, bad. What did I put? Oh, right lane extra ball and 5K target. The 555 lamp wasn't working. Now, in this troubleshooting process, I nailed it out fairly quickly. And without going into all of them in detail, I'll just hit some of the highlights real quick.
Hey, go ahead and hit some highlights.
Let me hit some highlights.
Hit some highlights. We like the highlights.
First thing I noticed was the only thing that I had connected was these yellow and white GI wires. Actually, it was just the yellow wires. I found stuffed inside the wiring loom these two here. Now, it should make sense right away that this is not right. I mean, the way it is now is right, but the way it was previously was wrong because you always meet like-colored wires together. And whenever these were not met together, then the bus for general elimination was cut off. So once I got this done correctly, and remember these are for the pop bumpers, once I had these done correctly, everything worked.
That's amazing.
Voila!
That's amazing.
So all my GI problems were fixed just by going back to this one thing. There was a couple of these 555 lamps that had to be changed out, and they were just bad. So no big deal.
Bad lamps.
I changed the 47s all in the beginning, but I didn't change any of the 555s. I just cleaned them.
The moral of the story is always change your lights.
You just change the light if it's out or if it's black. That's what I did.
I don't understand why you got a brand new playfield and you don't change all your lights.
I had a flash lamp that wasn't working. Mm-hmm. You know why? Forgot to connect the jumper.
Oh.
That's it. Just put the jumper together.
Anything else?
Yeah, there's more.
We'll keep going.
One other problem I had before I start the game and it gets loud is right in here. This has a relay underneath this kickback, so it opens and closes like Indiana Jones and a lot of other games. Mm-hmm. So the first shot that you have up here, it should open, and the ball should travel over here to this mini playfield, which is kind of hangover from the original Pinball game. Well, it was opening, but then at the second shot up here, it would open again. It wouldn't really open. The problem was it was never shutting properly. And I put this new ramp on. It turned out that the old ramp See this relay right here is the one that controls that. There's a spring on this side that holds the plate of that to this mount. Well, that spring was missing on mine. I never knew that. So I had to pull this one off, go back over here, pull this ramp off, and put that spring on there. That took a little bit of time. I hate doing that stuff. All right, here we go. Let's do it. I got to tell you that the Pinball Pro sub's a little heavy because we get the glass off.
Yeah.
So if you hear your subs cranking, it's the pinball machine's fault. That was a pretty lame shot. Oh my gosh, look at the action. You had all the pop bumpers are working. They just need to be adjusted. I had one pop bumper that had a coil. The coil wire was broken on it, and I had to resolder it back. It was off the coil itself, not the two lugs, okay? And of course I rebuilt the shooter. And now it acts as it's supposed to. I also had to put a washer underneath this side of that mount in order to get it right. Okay. Ow, that hurt. There's the two switches right there. The one on the left, after I readjusted it, it ripped it off completely. It was actually laying down inside of the head. And so I had to take everything back off again, take the head out, and then I had to put a new switch in there. And this little wire form luckily snapped into my cherry switch, my new cherry switch that I put in there. But I've always liked this game, and I really like the back glass is cool. I like the colors. The only way you could bring out this sort of color is with incandescent lighting with little light bulbs, and that's what it uses, you know, and like a fluorescent, like a modern day game. Down on the playfield, I think the playfield layout is pretty cool. It's a unique game. It plays really low, and then you have this whole other apparatus going on up top, which helps identify the machine as the machine, I guess.
It's probably the best looking pinbot you're gonna find.
Yeah,
Bride pinbot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not perfect though. I mean, there's always going to be problems. There's a post right here because this was cracked. Remember, we had to deal with that.
If I'm playing this game, I am not going to recognize all the stuff that you're pointing out.
You're right.
You will recognize it because you know because you assembled it. But as long as it plays right and it looks great,
it plays just
that's all that matters. So talk about the clear coat. What you think of the clear coat job?
I played a couple games on it. When I finally got all the problems fixed last night, it was 1 o'clock. It was about 12:45, so I played it aggressively then. I had a blast. It was the first time. You always look forward to the very first time you can play the game and have a good time with it. And that was the first time I could play it and just play it. You know, not worry about adjusting a switch or anything like that. So it was a blast. It was very fast. It was very hard. And you're gonna struggle to get the Billionaires Club on this. If it's pitched right, with everything as fast as it is, you know, you're gonna have a pretty good game. The only thing left to do to this game at this point is to put a couple of cards in it, and I'm going to clean out this area a little bit with some mean green, and then the only painting I got left, you know, we paint the inside of this on every game if it's black, and I just need to do the same thing through here on both sides. So I'll take the glass out, I'll take this out, and I'll take this steel piece out. It's in good shape. I'll wax it just to bring out the black a little bit more. I'll paint this area here. I'll paint the perimeter of the box, and then I'll also paint back in here. All that with some black Rust-Oleum paint. The legs are new. I just put brand new legs on it, and you know that just kind of is the cream of the crop. And then over here on the coin door, I'm going to spray that with a light, just a real light coat of black. High gloss, and that'll be done.
Nice.
So the game's ready.
Yep, nice machine. Good job.
Now, on to the next project. Come over here.
Next project. There are so many projects. Where does it end?
This game here, to stay on schedule, this game here at least has to have its playfield removed and put on the still. Good news is, machine boots. Although I just got a factory restored setting, that must mean my batteries are dead. Yeah,
kind of.
Or is this the first time you've turned it on?
This is the second time I've turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that NOS playfield, man.
NOS.
God.
Nice and dirty.
Yeah, I just turned it on to see if it would boot up. So what kind of electronics problems do I have? And then I pulled everything out from underneath the playfield. I lifted the playfield to see what's underneath it, which I always do. And if you look in this case, since I already dug out some of the stuff, you just have simple garbage. There's a razor blade too, if you wanted to.
For 25 cents sticker.
Mm-hmm. Nothing too interesting, but what? Look underneath the cabinet. Well, actually, the knocker's gone. Look.
Yep.
Knocker's completely gone. Look underneath the cabinet. I think I've seen the knocker then. The hand's missing. It's not missing. It's just been removed.
It's there.
And here's the knocker coil right there. I think the yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is filthy. Look at the return ball trough here. Can you get that? Can you see how dirty that is? It almost looks like it's made out of metal.
Mm-hmm.
That looks bad.
Mine's filthy too.
This is just freaking gross.
It's going to take a lot of cleaning.
And then here's the playfield. Look at that right there. That's just sick, isn't it? Whoops.
It's alright, it won't hurt anything.
No, just a little mean green laying on there. I just wanted to do a little wipe. I'm doing this pretty gentle, you know. But mean green is going to get most of this crud off. If you look at the lamp inserts on this, you can see that the wear is fairly minimal. It's starting to lift. All these are starting to lift a little bit. Here's a little bit. There's a little bit of wear. Steve's game, he did some nice things to the game to get it functional. It did require some board, unfortunately.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
Oh,
you just lost.
There he is. Bounce there. Hey, the display looks good.
Yeah, it does. All switches are working fine. The mechanics of the coils are beautiful. The rubber dynamics are fantastic. And by golly, you do have one thing.
The shooter.
The shooter's
no
got to be
deal.
rebuilt. That
Right.
takes about 15 minutes at max.
That's no problem.
Steve, you had board problems, right?
I had lots of board problems.
Yeah. So tell us about it? Well, we don't need to talk about it. What
We've
happened
seen
because
it.
we already got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what you got in there because you fixed this thing. The display looks perfect.
Because it's a brand new display.
Take a look at this driver board. What is this?
This right here?
Yeah, that's a brand new one, huh?
That's a brand new replacement.
So that's a reproduction board.
Exactly.
Do you know who makes it?
Actually, I'm not sure.
But you got it at,
Marco.
what was the price of that?
$79.
$79. And you put a brand new dot matrix display in this thing. And how much was that?
Basically, let's say $130.
$130 for the display?
Yeah.
So you paid a premium price for that display because there is places you
Because
get.
because I only got one and I had an order going out. So
You combine the
I got
two.
I got it. I won't tell you who I got it from, but I already had an order with them.
Oh, okay.
So I went into the display.
All right. So, but in the cost of shipping, everything, it came out in a lot.